Good afternoon, everybody. This is the Burning with Love. The Burning is Love with Joe Bachman. Today we're going to be hopefully cranking out 3 different pieces here. I've got the first one prepped and ready to go. Got the wood burner turned on already, so we're going to dive straight into this. I'm working on trying to get some more wood pieces done for an upcoming convention, RegionCon, here in Northwest Indiana. That will be held April 21st and 22nd in Maryville, Indiana, at St. Sava's Church. You'll also be able to find Nick Tockert there, his wife Amanda Tockert, and my wife Trelena Bachman will be having booths there. So with that, before we get going, just want to remind everybody to take a look at some of the other streamers that are out there. These people are part of the Rising Tide Broadcast Network, and they're also part of the Independent Creators Directory. Starting off on Sundays, you have Dan Hollifield's Last Man Standing at 1 a.m. Eastern, 12 Central. Tomorrow kicks off with Nick Tockert on Nevermind the Furthermore at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Same with Wednesday for Nevermind the Furthermore. Thursday night, you have Comic Book Spectrum, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central. Thursday night after that, or kind of starts in that sometimes, and I think I actually have Comic Book Spectrum wrong. I think that's supposed to be 8 Eastern, 7 Central. Someone correct me if I am wrong on that. But Thursday night, you also have Holocon Stupid O'Clock, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, followed by Dan Hollifield's Last Man Standing again. Thursday night into Friday morning, depending on which time zone you're in, 12 a.m. Eastern, 11 Central. And then Fridays, we have Nevermind the Furthermore with Nick at 10 Eastern, 9 Central. Historical Fencing Guild, also by Mr. Nick Tockert, at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. And Saturday night, we wrap up with Holocon's Stupid O'Clock at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central Time. There's also, I thought I had this in there, apparently I didn't, From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, hosted by Joe D. McPhee on Saturdays, starting at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central Time. And every other Tuesday, catch Michaela and a handful of others on Tidbits and Scribbles every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central. So, with that, we're going to minimize myself here a little bit. Or not. That was the wrong screen to minimize. Let's try that again. There we go. Now I'm shrinking. Yeah, and the funny thing was I had his on there, and then I realized I missed the show, and I went through and moved things around and forgot to add it back in. So, yeah, I'm going to have to change that card already, but that's okay. So, first through the door was Carl, and then followed in by Dawn. Good afternoon to both of you. So, let's hop into some music here. We're going to be playing music from Dan Hollifield's Never Bank on a Learning Curve. You can find that on bandcamp.com. And we're going to start off with track number 5 from that, WTF Rednecks Can't Groove. So 2 of the pieces I'm doing today are actually kind of similar. They're both this kind of, it's hard to see right now, the Celtic Cross did not really transfer that well. But doing 2 of the Celtic Cross design today, one on this smaller piece of wood, and then one on a larger piece. Mainly because this one seems to sell pretty well at the convention. And it's a little more time consuming than some of the other pieces, so I'm going to try and knock a few more of these out just to have there. That way don't have to try and do them while I'm at the convention. Oh, it was fun last night. We did miss you though, Dawn. Hopefully you're not hurting as much here soon. If you did miss it last night, do go back to YouTube and look up Stupid O'Clock, or look up HoloCon. You can also find it on Joe Dog McKeel's YouTube page, and I believe Dan Hollofield's YouTube page. But look up Stupid O'Clock. It was a great show last night. So was Last Man Standing. Carl, how long did they end up going for Last Man Standing last night? Because I tapped out finally about 2:30 our time, and the show was actually still live at that point. Oh, man, I may have to scrap this piece. My hand is not wanting to work with this small piece of wood today for some reason. Two and a half hours. I watched it all this morning. Okay, so they signed off shortly after I hopped off. Well, the show ended 10 minutes after I hopped off. But knowing that crew, the after show probably went on for a few hours. This piece is just not wanting to burn right. I even sanded the heck out of this thing too before I put the image on. I think Donna crashed out right after the show. Who knows how long Dan and Rich talked. Yeah, especially Mike Jimmy was still on there too. So does anybody have any information on the show that BKM's starting up? I keep seeing him post something. It looked like today, the post I saw today makes it sound like he's going to be doing a show on Mondays now at 8 a.m. Might be 8 a.m. my time. I don't remember. Might have been 9 his time, 8 a.m. our time. Just wondering if that's going to be new weekly show that he's doing, or? The No Warning, yeah, I think it's going to be a pre-show to Nick. I was hoping for Monday nights. We don't have anyone to watch then. Yeah, my Behind the Code kind of had to take a back seat on Monday nights, and even this show is technically supposed to be on Wednesday nights, and just the way with the way life is going right now, kind of working on stuff as time allows, and hoping things settle down for Michaela here soon too, so that she can get her show going consistently on Tuesdays again. I think I'm going to do the lettering with this tip, and then I might change tips, because I don't know if it's tip, if it's just my hand not wanting to play nice. Could be a combination of both. I think when I go to do the inside part here, I'm going to switch it over to the ballpoint tip. Or it could just be that section of the wood, because now it's burning pretty good. Oh, let me guess. My notification that I should be live? Well, not yet. I also need to get a hold of the company that makes this wood burner at some point and see if I can order, or if they'll just send me a new piece that allows me to remove these tips a little more safely, so I don't have to let them cool down for so long. Sounds like somebody is home. I don't know if I'm... Yep, I'm hearing someone walk above me. Which means either somebody's home, somebody broke in, or the protections the wife put on the house are fading and we have spirits. One of the three. Depending on how this piece turns out, especially when I burn the inner part of this cross, because I'm very picky about what I place on the table for sale, this may just end up as a private piece for me, or it may end up with the boxes that I plan to take outside to burn sometime next week. Carl suggested, how about a second burner with the other tip? Look like those TV cooks with the turkey cooked in the oven. I've thought about that, but I don't know exactly how much this thing draws for power, and it's already hooked up along with my computer setup over here, which is currently running through two separate surge protectors and a rather lengthy extension cable. And this poor old house is on screw and fuses still. I don't even have breakers. And I'm pretty sure I've got to be pulling close to the load limit on this thing. I'm going to start. Let's see if I can do a light. It might work if I can. Keep my hand steady enough here. Actually, I think what I'm going to do with this piece, yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I think with this piece, I'm going to actually color in the centers too. which will actually help any shakiness from my hand while trying to do these fine lines. I've actually been considering getting a different burning setup. And they do have other setups out there that actually have different wire tips, even more so than what I currently have. Just so I have more of a option on shading and tracing tips. I just have to convince myself that the about $200 investment is worth it. Oh wow, that's actually looking better on the screen than it is in real life. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Carl, yeah, we have breakers and I had to reset one today so we could make lunch. Yeah, electric heaters will draw a lot of power. Knock on wood, we have only ever had one fuse blow in this house. And that was actually from us trying to do our own electrical. We're actually just taking the cover off the outlet. And the bad thing is none of the fuses are really marked, except for the heating and AC fuse. So we didn't really have any idea what went to what. And then when we popped that fuse, we found out that one fuse controls everything down here in the basement. Which also explains why my lights dim a little bit down here when I go to print something. Found two former fuse boxes here. One was the more modern glass fuses that screwed in, and one looks like it used the old long fuses, like something from the 40s. Yeah, we have the more modern glass fuses that screw in here, and it actually wasn't as bad to change out as I thought it was going to be. Just took my cell phone into the other part of the basement here and kind of flashed my light on it and found which one was burnt out. And luckily the previous owners had left some behind, so I was able to replace it right away. Yeah, I took the burnt one up to Ace Hardware and went, just give me like 2 or 3 more of these, because I got a feeling we're gonna end up going through them trying to replace this little outlet. And the funny thing was, all we did was take the outlet cover off, because what I was going to do was I had one of the 3-prong little splitters, and you can't see it on either of my videos, but I'd done that to one of my outlets up here. I have a little 3-way splitter to be able to put more stuff onto it, and we took that cover off and it decided to just kind of jump out at us. And when we went to push it back in, apparently there's a loose wire somewhere, because all of a sudden you saw a quick little arc come out of that box and heard everything in the basement shut off as that fuse blew, except for the exhaust fan in the bathroom down here. That's the only thing that is not on the same fuse. So if the exhaust fan ever goes out, I'm going to have a ton of fun trying to figure out which one they wired that to. As I go along here, I'm liking this more, so I think this one's gonna be a for sale piece at the con. It's always so hard when these lines don't transfer like they're supposed to really see what the heck I'm doing. Alright, so other news. For those of you who caught Behind the Code last week, I am implementing a blog feature on indiecd.org that members can request access to. I will then set them up an account and get it to where they can post information. It'll show up strictly on their page alone. And they will have access to only edit or delete posts that they have created. Which everyone will end up with kind of a my first blog post, like a hello world type thing for you programmers. Because that's the only way I can actually, there has to be a post under that author's name to be able to do the feature they add to their page. So I will create their account, log into their account. Or actually, I don't think I have to. I think since I'm an admin, I can actually just set it as that specific person. Create the little hello world, and then when they log in for the first time to create a blog post, they can go through and delete mine and type up one of their own. I know a lot of people have been saying I need to up my prices on the membership for indiecd.org. I think come June, I'm going to up the price from a $10 lifetime fee to $20. Which should still make it extremely affordable for independent creators to be able to afford to sign up with. Yeah, that actually turned out pretty good. I like it. Nope, wrong way, Joe. Turn it off. So, there we have it. Celtic Cross with "May you always have peace," and my lord, did I miscenter that as badly as the last one. Oh. I don't know why these little small ones are the bane of my existence, but alright. We're going to set him off to the side. And before we get going on to the next piece, I need to be able to pop my back. And we're about a half hour into the show, so let's go ahead and we're going to pause the music here. Where am I? Oh, I've really got to learn to load the commercials onto both brands. So let's go with, we're going to start off with Jody McPhee and then run a commercial for Mike Jimmy for Life on Cora.
Hi, I am Joe D. McPhee. I am the host of From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher, and I want to cordially invite you to watch our show Saturdays at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. On our show, we will have different guests as well as talk about the comic book industry and pop culture. And every so often, I might actually do a drawing session or a 3D rendering session every here and there. So once again, I want to invite you to watch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher right here on the broadcast channel that you're looking at, whether it be Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Hope to see you there, and make certain that you catch From the Desk of a Small Press Publisher at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks.
And Carl says Donna's going to call me down to help her soon, so if I disappear, it's not something bad. Not a problem, Carl. Let's go ahead and play the commercial real quick for Life on Cora from Mike Jimmy DeBron. All right, and we're going to get right into this next piece. Again, same piece, this time actually without any words. It's just going to be the cross. And we're going to get that nice and saturated there. Take our spoon and get that ink to transfer over. And I actually need to go through and look at a bunch of other stuff that I have for doing designs with. I actually found on Etsy, there's some people selling designs and stuff that you can purchase and use for commercial or private use. I need to look into some more of those. Just kind of see what's out there, see what I can do. Alright, let's peel that back. How's that looking? Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. And, missing some comments here. Let's get back here. And Dawn's got to make a few phone calls. She may be back. Oh, if not, Dawn, you have a great afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Cryptic Crunches tonight. I believe they are on YouTube, Carl. If you want to post what channel they're on and the times, go for it. And we have Rich Asplin joining us today, saying he's bought some chainmail patterns from Etsy. So awesome. And Rich, since you actually now have admin rights in the StreamYard here, If you want to hop in, you are more than welcome to, sir. If not, that's okay too. And there we go. Alright, we'll give that tip just a moment to heat up and take a quick drink. Ah, there he is. Cryptic Crunches is on the back of the Cereal Box Network on YouTube. All right. And Rich, I don't know if you're still getting stuff set up. You can add yourself if you want, whenever you're ready.
All right, let's see here.
Hello there, sir.
Yeah, and shrink myself down there so that your artwork is still prime time.
Yep. Let me turn down the music just a little bit more there. There we go. Got anything fun going on this Saturday, Rich? Or Saturday? Wow, Sunday. It's Sunday.
Caught up on The Mandalorian a little bit earlier. I slept through it, trying to catch up with it yesterday with Misty, because barely slept Friday night into Saturday, and then Saturday we were running so much. So I like 5 minutes into the first episode, I was like out cold.
Yeah, I need to sit down and actually start watching this season of Mandalorian, and I believe Bad Batch is supposed to be back on also.
I did see something about a new season of Bad Batch when I was in Disney Plus. I haven't had a chance to go look at it yet.
So I need to catch up on both of those. There's something else that... Star Trek Picard. I think I'm a couple of episodes behind on.
I haven't watched any of Picard, any of the seasons yet, but then again, I don't have Paramount Plus. Although, when things get caught up, if Walmart is still doing its special for getting into their Walmart Plus type thing, they were partnered with Paramount Plus, where you'd get Paramount Plus for free.
Oh, nice.
So we'll look at that a little bit later, because I really want to see the version of The Stand that they did.
Version of The Stand?
Yeah, Paramount Plus a couple years ago did The Stand. With
not
Whoopi
familiar
Goldberg.
with that show.
The Stand from Stephen King, the one of the novels that catapulted his fame about the end of the world, virus outbreak. So it was kind of funny that it came out right at the height of when COVID was happening, that they reintroduced it. So there was a miniseries that they did years ago that had Rob Lowe and Gary Sinise and Molly Ringwald and all them. But I think 2020 they redid it and was putting it out on Paramount Plus with Whoopi Goldberg playing the role of Mother Abigail. So Misty and I were really tempted to get the trial just to watch that. But again, we haven't done that yet. So, but yeah, The Stand was one of Stephen King's best-selling novels of all time for him.
Oh,
so it's interesting. Unfortunately, also, it's one of his most bloated novels that has the most random scene setting around, where, it's like 3 paragraphs where he just talks about a guy's digital watch.
So he took a page out of J.R.R. Tolkien and the green, green grass on the green, green hill on the...
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that would get a little bloated there. I could definitely see that.
Oh, yeah, more than a little.
But speaking of books, how are yours coming along? I need to start working on volume 2 of mine again. I know you've been doing a lot of research and stuff for yours.
Kind of been paused on it. I do need to sit down and talk with Carl, Donna, and Michaela to see where I want to go with it, whether I want to go to Drafts of Digital and format it there, because Michaela was saying that its formatting should work a bunch of other places as well. So trying to figure out whether to go, directly to Kindle, go to Lulu, go do Drafts to Digital, try something else. And then I still have to talk to Carl about exactly how we want to do the cover.
Gotcha.
So which King book referred to a bunch of different stories was at the stand. He has such an incestuous relationship between his stories, it's not even funny. But the Dark Tower series is the series that ties pretty much all of his books together. And then it's especially brought together in the sequel to The Talisman called The Black House.
Thank you, Rich, for fielding that comment, because I keep forgetting to actually set up my iPad over here so I can actually keep track of that stuff. As I'm
no problem. No problem.
You started saying that, I'm like, wait a second, that sounds like he's answering a question I don't remember asking.
No, Carl, I asked a question.
Yeah. I get a little entranced in these lines sometimes and kind of forget there's other things going on around me. Which reminds me, if I end up not heading out your way by next Friday, I'm gonna mail that one piece, that cutting board over to you.
Cool. All right, Facebook user. If you, heck, it's been a while since I've done it, and I keep doing it in StreamYard, so I don't have to do it again. There's a toggle that will allow StreamYard to be able to access your actual name, so we can actually see who the actual comment is from instead of just seeing Facebook user.
I'm guessing that's probably Keisha. Sometimes she says good evening, sometimes she says howdy. I'm willing to bet that's Keisha, because for whatever reason, I mean, StreamYard hates Facebook. Facebook hates StreamYard, and
anymore, Facebook hates everybody.
You know, and both StreamYard and Facebook just end up taking it out on her for whatever reason on my shows. Even though I thought once you did it I didn't think it was by the show. I thought it was once you did it, it was good. Oh, it's Bonzart. How you doing, sir?
Another one of our friends from over in the Netherlands.
Yes. Yeah, it's getting late over there. It's coming up probably on 10 o'clock, I'm assuming?
Right about, because for another week, they're only 6 hours ahead of us, and then they go back to 7 hours.
Ah.
But yes, Bonsart Bokel, the mastermind behind the Order of Ishtar.
Association of Ishtar.
Association of Ishtar. My apologies. But a really cool steampunk mashup type world. So
yes, definitely check out his YouTube channel too. He's got some good stuff going on over there. And he says he's doing all right. Managed to write 2,500 words for the first time in a long time. And yes, nearly 10 p.m. And who just sent me a text? Oh, okay. The bad part about doing this from my Mac, I still get the text message alerts through my headset.
And Bonsart's Kickstarter is still going on.
Okay. I believe that is associationofishtar.com/KS. Yeah, if you want to back another great Kickstarter, which there's a few great Kickstarters going on in our group right now. Bonzarts is a great one to back. Grant Lankard for Beowulf number 5.
Yep.
Is another great one to back. You've got the hybrids, double feature RPG and TPB going on Indiegogo, and also
on fundmycomic.com.
Yep. Yeah, get you a show going, Rich, with you doing your chainmail.
That is one thing that I am thinking of in the future. That's actually one of the things that I was probably going to slip in every once in a while to Life Lessons with Crazy Uncle Dick, because when I get my setup the way I would like, I'd like to do demos and stuff like that, do some stuff live, and then just do a bunch of pre-recorded stuff as well. I've got plans for a bunch of shows on how to identify and avoid scams, a bunch of shows on plan for how to go ahead and work within various parts of Microsoft Office. For those that need a little boost in the corporate world to increase their ability to create documents in a more efficient and timely fashion, so that they can, be a better worth to their corporation or be a better worth to a different corporation and jump ship for, the bigger, better deal that might be out there for them.
There you go.
But yeah, Life Lessons with Crazy Uncle Dick isn't just going to be a bunch of late night ruminations about this, that, and the other. There's going to be a little bit more meat to it here in the near future.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping life calms down here in the near future, which, with construction season starting back up, probably not, but one can have hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to be able to get Behind the Code back on Monday nights. And hopefully get this program back on Wednesday nights.
Yeah, the plan for Life Lessons with Crazy Uncle Dick is a bunch of pre-recorded stuff for the actual demos and actual teaching of things, and then the random philosophical conversations streaming here and there as time insanity or insanity in some cases permits.
So I think we've known each other long enough, Rich, that there is no sanity left between the two of us.
No, it managed to escape a long time ago.
Wait, yours escaped? I don't even know that I had it to begin with. I think when I popped out of the womb, it popped out of me and just went, bye!
Oh, and it looks like Bonsart went back to the salt mines.
Oh, yep. I didn't know he worked a graveyard shift. Unless what he means is he's getting back to work on...
I think getting back to work because he was just talking about working on 2,500 words earlier, so... I wish I could get 2,500 words out on a single story in a day. I can get 2,500 words out, but it's like 50 words on this thing, 25 words here, 100 words over there, maybe 500 words somewhere else.
Yeah,
it's one of the things that irritates the hell out of Nick about my writing style.
Yeah, I need to actually sit down and... I think the smart thing for mine would be sit down and think about the various projects over the years and just sit here with my little digital recorder and record, the memory coming back, and then just listening to that recorder and trying to type from that.
When I had to commute every day, oh so long ago, one of the things I would do is I would hit the voice recorder on my phone while I was driving to or from the bus or whatever, and just start talking out my idea for the stories and things like that. And things flowed a lot better. And then I could go ahead and take everything and massage it back into place later on when I got home.
Not a bad idea.
So, I mean, doing that on the bus can get a little problematic for the simple reason, background noise might bleed into my mic. So something that's going on around me might overpower what I'm trying to say into the mic. And I don't want to sit there and be the one overpowering someone else's conversation, because we know that I've got a voice that can carry.
Yeah. See, I wouldn't be able to do that on my drive to work. Not because of phone calls from the contractor or anything, but I drive 8094 every day through the heart of Lake County.
So you're trying to make sure that you don't have expletives in the middle of what you're trying to type up.
Yeah. And on this contract, we had you dumb.
Yeah, that's happened a few times in some of the commutes while I was recording. Getting cut off by someone, and my colorful turns of phrases.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and anybody who has ever driven 8094 knows exactly what colorful phrases we are referring to.
But yeah, it can be a very, very handy tool. Now, granted, the calmer parts of your drive, you can do that, and then you can go, you know what, I'm about to enter traffic. We'll continue this later. End file.
Yeah, because actually, as soon as I get on the interstate, I am in my project zone. Because our project this year runs from Klein clear down to I-65.
Oh.
Yeah, a good 5.5 mile stretch of the leg there.
Good 5.5 mile stretch of a really busy stretch of it.
I will say this, at least the designer had the forethought to not screw with the ramp going from eastbound 8094 to southbound I-65. The most they did was shift the lanes over a little bit. A few years ago, we were doing a bridge overlay near that exit, and we didn't think anything of it. We never realized how truly busy that ramp was until we got into that particular configuration of traffic, and we're getting a phone call going, hey, you have traffic backed up to Burr. Okay, so my boss and I go running out there. It's like 7:15 in the morning, like right after we got into the office. So we go buzzing out there, and like we're looking, and we're like, man, we don't see what's causing the traffic backup. We don't see ambulance lights, police lights. There's no accident. What the heck's going on? And so as he's driving down to find a place to flip around, I think we went all the way down to Kennedy Avenue. And by the time we flipped around at Kennedy, traffic had backed up to Kennedy. So you're now talking about an 8-mile backup roughly. All because we took that ramp from 2 lanes down to 1. We managed to make our way back down there, got out, measured the shoulder, and went, yep, we could redo this a little bit and still fit 2 lanes of traffic. Called the traffic engineer at NDOT, and he goes, oh yeah, that ramp averages about 20,000 vehicles an hour. $20,000 an hour. No wonder we have a backup going 8 miles. And NBC's news helicopter is flying overhead. Yeah.
I knew it was busy. I didn't realize it was 20K an hour busy. Holy wow.
Yeah. That's the average for the day.
And I used to take that exit all the time too. Back when I still lived in the Four Seasons and when I was going to college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is a very, very busy ramp. Which, once we get into a later phase here where we have the crossover traffic going, it's gonna make things a little dicey going through there, because that crossover is gonna come back out right before you get to that exit, and which means all the people that don't read the sign that say no exit to, Klein, Berg, Grant, Broadway, and I-65 South, as soon as they are out of that, they're going to try and whip across 4 lanes of traffic.
Yeah, it's going to get ugly.
Mm-hmm.
So what's that project calling for this time around?
It's actually the sister project to last year's. It's profile and grinding of the pavement and patching of the pavement. Basically, what we're doing is going through and making sure everything is at the same. I don't want to say same angle because that's not really the word I want to use, but same slope.
Okay.
So everything has roughly a 2% slope on it, and it'll that way for water drainage and everything. And then the grinding part just kind of roughs up the surface, gives better traction to the tires.
Also makes little rivulets so that the water can drain better, and it's likely to hydroplane, I assume.
Right. So we've also gone through, cleaned out several of the drain inlets that have been neglected over the years, which should help with any flooding issues during heavy rain events on 94. And yeah, it's basically just kind of extending the life of the actual roadway a little bit longer. Because this particular contract, I want to say, is around $40 million. But they also included a bridge on it this time. We're overlaying the bridge that's right by Klein Avenue. It's on 8094, but it's over like 2 or 3 railroads, which now becomes an even bigger pain because railroads are involved.
And of course, railroads are all about money, and every second that you're interfering with the track, whether the track is actually in use or not, costs them thousands of dollars.
Right. So, yeah, the railroads essentially have us, for lack of better words, they got us by the balls. We have to conform to their safety standards. We have to have a flagger out there, even if we are not working down below. We still have to have a flagger out there if we are up top on the bridge and not even necessarily doing demo work. Yeah. Their boundary for right of way basically goes from ground level to God. And they will, when they are dead set on something, they will not budge. We had a project a few years ago that we were supposed to repaint some of the steel beams on a bridge on 20 going over CSX Railroad. And they go, well, that's a very busy track. We could give you, 45 minutes track time, probably, and then you'll have to, move out of the way for a train, this, that, and the other. And I looked at the person, I'm like, I used to live around the corner from this train track. I would go to work and see a train just sitting there and come back 8 to 10 hours later and see the same train sitting there. So you can't tell me that it's that busy of a track when you're just parking a train there for 8, 10, 12 hours. Well, how do you know it was the same train? Because it had the same graffiti on the same car that hadn't budged. And they just, I wanted, by the time the meeting got done, I really wanted to look at them and go, if we don't do this and the steel degrades and it rusts and that bridge eventually falls in on top of your tracks, just how much freight do you think you're going to get down that line until that's cleaned up?
And what if it happens while a train is passing underneath? How much freight is getting destroyed? And therefore, their insurance premiums are going to have to go up even higher because they're going to have to pay out on damaged goods.
Mm-hmm. But that's a risk they're willing to take, apparently.
So you guys had to have a flagger to alert the trains or to alert car and pedestrian traffic?
They are to alert us and the trains both.
Okay.
I know the one, the bridge I just mentioned, we also did some patching of the piers underneath. And I was talking to the flagger that was down there, and I asked him, how do you communicate with the train to let them know that the track is clear, you don't need to slam on the emergency brakes or anything, just roll on through. He goes, we have radio posts every so often. He goes, and I have to send him a code. I have to send the conductor a code that he then has to put in, and it has to be the same, the codes have to match, they have to verify this, that, and the other. He goes, if he passes the last station without getting that code verified, his train will go into an automatic shutdown for safety.
Okay, so in their computerized systems, it's automatically set to kick things down. So it's not like you've got someone waving a flag saying for them to slow down. It's basically someone waving a flag, in this case, a radio code, for them to say you don't have to slow down in this case.
Yep. And to tell us, hey, you got about 15 minutes to get out of the way before, the light at the end of the tunnel will be an oncoming train.
So I'm guessing you've got the flaggers stationed, probably 2-3 miles down track at that point?
No,
if you got that amount of time.
They actually just communicate with everything through radio.
All right.
So it's really kind of neat the way they did that. But still a gigantic pain in the side. Because especially with painting of the steel beams, you can't... it's not a quick process to shut down. And it's not a very quick process to start up either. It'll actually take... For the 45 minutes they were willing to allow us to have, it would have taken about 15 minutes to get everything, all the tarps up, everything closed up. They would have had about 15-20 minutes to actually work, and then it would have been a very quick scramble to get the tarps back down after the dust had settled. Because you can't allow that dust to go out in the air. It's an EPA violation. So they would have been able to work for 15 to 20 minutes at a time, which, I think with how long that bridge was, they'd probably still be trying to get it done and painted at this point.
All right, so a question about what you're doing now. So I'm assuming, using some type of fine line tip to go ahead and do the outlining, and is this more of like a ball tip or something like that to do this more shading?
Yeah, well, the first tip was actually the ballpoint.
Okay.
Which, you can barely see the little nub on there.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what I used for the lining on this one. The first one, I used this little tip here, which is kind of just a straight, flat point.
Okay.
I can generally control that one better on smaller items and get my lines. And then this is one of the two shading tips that I have for it. We got this one, and then this more kind of spoonish one that I think this one might be defective because it doesn't really heat up that well. But this one, I don't know if you can actually see the smoke coming off the wood as I'm doing this right now, but
yeah,
this one heats up real nice, gives a nice dark burn, and I need to actually probably should order a few more of these tips, because I've had these for a while, and I use a very fine grit sandpaper to clean them off.
Yeah, the last soldering iron I bought had a bunch of wood burning tips in it as well. So
yeah, a lot of the soldering irons come with that now. Because really, it's just a different metal tip that you're putting on there.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about the soldering iron versions, because I've actually had those in the past, is it seems like you're holding it way up here instead of being able to hold it more like a pen down here. This guy was actually... I get this from Where did I get this from originally? Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby had it, and they had a 40% off coupon, so I ended up getting this thing for like $60.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing pyrography? How do you pronounce it? Wood burning.
I have been doing this for well, I can't even really say consistently. First wood burner I had, I was probably like 13, 14 years old.
Oh, wow.
But never had the I can't draw a straight line to save my life, but I can trace a line with the best of them.
Now that I think about it, I think my parents had a wood burning kit back when I was like 5-10 years old and stuff like that, and it just came with I remember the wood burner, and then I remember just a crap ton of balsa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've never burned on. I actually kind of want to get some balsa wood to burn on, because that would be. You could get a really deep, dark burn on that. This should be a basswood that I'm burning on right now. But it's when I first started doing this, I really started getting into it again in my adult life. I used to print off the design. Like, I would print off this design, take a piece of carbon paper, and hand trace everything, and then come back through and burn it, which was very time intensive. And then you had to make sure, especially if it was something with a lot of detail, that you were getting that detail also. You couldn't really skip around and, do a section over here, do a section over there. And then God help you if your tape slipped when you picked up everything to look and see how it was looking.
Oh, yeah.
Because trying to get everything to line back up was nigh on impossible.
Yeah, carbon paper, when... There's a bunch of different arts that I used to deal with carbon paper, and it was always dicey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The method I do now is so much easier, as long as I remember to print it the correct way. I don't know how many times I've gone through and printed something off, slapped it down, put the acetone on the paper, used a spoon to rub it on there with, pull everything off, and went, crap, I forgot to mirror the image.
I assume the only time that really does too much damage is when there's actual lettering.
Yeah. It was normally the and for whatever reason, it was the lettering ones I'd forget to do it with.
Yeah, I can imagine how much of a pain that would be.
Yeah, because then you got to take you're either just going, you know what, screw it, I'm going to toss this piece out, or you're standing there with a hand sander and then a hand that feels like it's still vibrating, 5 days later, because it's going to take forever to get that design back out of it.
Yeah, I know when Arcticon first moved to St. Sava, I remember you and Trey over there, she was doing the loom knitting.
Yep.
And you were doing that, and then of course Nick and Manda were over on the other side with hats and big stompy robots.
Yep.
And of course Nick's art.
Yeah, and I actually had my wood burner with me and was working on some of the stuff at the con, and kept having Nick go, "What's on fire?" Because he'd keep catching little wisps of the smoke. All right, that actually turned out
That's beautiful.
pretty good. Throw some lacquer on that and a hanger, and it'll be good to go. So that's 2 pieces down. And, we're only an hour and a half into this. That is not bad at all. But I think what I'm going to do, because I'm going to let that wood burner's been going for almost a solid hour and a half, so I think what I'm going to do is just get this one transferred over. And I may just burn this one later tonight because it is coming up on dinner time. I should probably get something ordered. But give it the nice little acetone rub. I might have to buy another bottle of acetone here soon. Which is a good thing. That means I'm actually creating stuff.
So you're basically just printing it out in reverse, slapping it down, and then it just off of like a regular inkjet printer, or are you using a laser jet, or?
It has to be laser jet.
Has to be laser? Okay.
Yep. Won't work with inkjet, and I think that's because the acetone will actually make the ink run.
Probably.
I'm assuming. Whereas with a laser jet, since a laser printer just kind of bonds it,
melted into the paper, yeah.
This just kind of unadheres some of that bond that it has with the paper and lets it bond to the wood. One thing I have learned is, even though it looks like there's still plenty of ink left on the paper, do not try and use the same printout twice. I have made that mistake, and it did not go well.
Too faint, or it just got all muddy and ugly?
Oh, way too faint. I mean, if you look at this, it looks like I barely took anything off there compared to the what's on the wood. But if I tried to do that same process again on another piece, it will not transfer like it should.
Probably because everything that could come off, for the most part, really has come off.
Yeah. So,
the rest of it is actually melted into the fibers of that piece of paper, so.
Yeah, I think we're gonna... Oh, I really gotta build my new chair. I keep saying that. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Let me guess, it's just sitting in a box in the corner?
Maybe. You don't have to call me out like that, Rich. Yeah, it's actually sitting.
You are a busy dude. You're helping your mom with her book. you're doing this, you're working an ass ton, you're on what, two town council things or two town boards. You're on your
Yeah, I'm
parks
on
board
two
and work.
Parks Board, the Planning Commission. I attend the town council meetings because I'm on both of those. And then I've also been, several months ago, got roped into being on the precinct committee for the Democratic Party. So, yeah.
So I mean, you're a busy dude, and then of course you're hanging out with us on Stupid O'Clock and Last Man Standing as well, and poking Nick where need be and filling in when he's having computer issues. So yeah, it's understandable that, hey, I see you. I've got like 10 minutes today, and it's much more time than I'm going to have for you. So I'm not even going to try to unbox you because I'll never find all the parts again.
Yeah. Well, I've been waiting for a nice day. The day that I had originally planned to do it was supposed to be like 50 degrees, be a great day. And that 50-degree day turned into a 50-degree raining day.
Because it's the Midwest.
Yes. And because I've got a bunch of empty boxes that I need to take out to the burn pile. And I figured, well, I'll get those out there. That way they're out of my way. I'll have room to build the chair. Once it's built, I can take that box out, light it on fire, have a beer, and just relax. And we haven't had a decent day of weather where I've not been busy since. So,
well, the good thing is, I'm not going to say the S word because we're still, 2 days away from it, and we know that, winter, if they hear anyone uttering that, it's going to be like, "Hey, it's still my turn, blizzard." But it's right around the corner, so that means just a lot more rainy weather.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But one can hope.
But when it does break, I'll be able to get that put together and stuff. So, Carl did ask, is that acetone? Yes, it is. Acetone or nail polish remover. Do not use the nail polish remover that has the lavender scent.
Okay, so this is a hobby that doing the transfers I would not be able to do. I'd have to have someone do the transfers for me.
Acetone sets off something on
migraines.
You? Ah. See,
acetone and nail polish both set off my migraines. So Misty gets mad because she can't even paint her nails in the house. I'm like, find a odor-free nail polish and I'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
But it literally makes me sick to my stomach and gives me a migraine.
Yeah, it's this doesn't bother me too much because it's not open for very long. So the smell of it, the smell of it doesn't hang around that long. The part that gets me is when I'm putting on the clear coat on this stuff.
Well,
and
as far as painting goes, because clear coat's technically painting, that really should be done in a hood for safety's sake. And now that I think about it, maybe when we finally get a place of our own again, maybe making sure that there's some place with a hood involved. Maybe they could paint their nails under the hood, have that crap sucked out. Huh.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah,
this week on This Old Nail Salon.
Yeah, this is what I generally use is the Minwax Fast Drying Clear Gloss Polyurethane. I am now going to be trying, because it was a good lord, decent deal for the price, the Minwax Clear Brushing Lacquer.
You could damn near dip your pieces into that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned that because some of the coasters I did a couple years ago, they were live wood piece, and I wanted to make sure there was a good coating of the clear coat, showing through the top to protect everything. I went out to my neighbor's garage and spent probably about 3 hours each night for 3 or 4 days straight, just adding layers.
Layer after layer after layer.
And it was soaking into the wood almost as quickly as I was layering it on.
Damn.
It took me almost a week to actually get, some kind of buildup on the top of actual clear coat. It's like, good Lord.
Now, something like that, where you're trying to do something, where you're trying to build up a slight thing on it, would like a little bit of putty and just a small amount of box to give you that you could clear coat it the rest of the way?
I need to actually look into more of what some of the other people do.
But again, if you're using epoxy, it would still be make sure it's a ventilated area, because that stuff continually gives off fumes for the entire drying time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that I would have to do out in my neighbor's garage with the door open. But it's I need to look into more of what some other people have done, because even the Minwax says, give it has an actual drying time. Let dry 3 to 4 hours, then lightly sand entire surface with fine sandpaper, 220 grit to ensure an even finish and proper adhesion. Remove all dust.
Hey, Josh.
Apply a second coat. If a third coat is desired, repeat step 6 before application. And it's like, I don't see, especially with these pieces, the way they are, the first coat just soaks in. There's no.
Well, yeah, it's dry, thirsty wood. So I mean, that's the entire purpose of getting basswood, is to get stuff that's nice and dry. Yeah, I actually have a chunk of basswood here for carving, which I gotta find where my knives are. They're actually back in there, and get back to learning, because I'm still learning. Too many hobbies keep getting distracting, and hey, Richie, let's go this way. So hopefully we can get that ADD cleared up, and I can start focusing on one project at a time again.
Yeah, I hear that. I've got way too many irons in the fire right now to
chainmail, carving, doodling, writing, trying to get back to code, work, kid, wife, dogs, trying to rebuild my health, trying to get back to fencing shape.
Yep.
Why the hell am I still so fat?
Oh, I just realized that song was actually still playing in the background there. I love Dan's music because unless I'm actually really paying attention,
really
I can't
easy
tell
to get into the groove to.
Yeah, you can't tell when it's ended and restarted for most of them.
Yeah,
and I love that about it. Yeah,
especially for a drive, and none of it's hypnotic. So you've got some songs that come on, and you're just like semi. That's a great thing about dance music is it's like an audio energy drink.
Mm-hmm. speaking of energy drinks, we're not sponsored by Mountain Dew, but I also wouldn't turn that down. But I think, it's about 4:40 now. I think we're going to call it for the day, and I might come back to that piece later this week, or who knows, I may just decide to do an unplanned burn session and pop back on tonight. See how froggy I feel. But so thanks for coming on, Rich, and we will see you all next time. Goodbye, everybody.
Take it light.